Welcome to my channel. USA Old Coins. In this video I tell you about the United States of America Washington quarter dollar, which are most valuable and rare. If you interested, please subscribe my channel. Thanks. Top 1. In the heart of American coinage history, certain pieces rise above the rest, not just for their design or their circulation numbers, but for the untold stories they carry. The Washington quarter dollar has long stood as a symbol of American pride and tradition, but every once in a while, a single coin emerges from the crowd that holds more than just monetary value. It holds mystery, rarity, and a spark of treasure hunter magic. One such extraordinary example is the 1973 Washington quarter dollar with no mint mark, a coin that today commands a value so unbelievable, it turns heads even in the most seasoned collector circles. At first glance, the 1973 quarter seems completely ordinary. It carries the familiar silver-like color, has a standard round shape, and weighs 5.67 grams. It measures 24.26 millimeters in diameter and is 1.75 millimeters thick, perfectly within the expected dimensions for quarters minted in that era. The composition, a copper nickel clad over a copper core, was standard for the time, a shift that had been made years earlier from the 90% silver quarters of the pre-1965 era, but this coin is anything but typical. The absence of a mint mark tells us it was minted in Philadelphia, and while that alone doesn't suggest rarity, what makes this particular 1973 quarter so valuable lies deeper, within its unexpected condition, possible striking anomalies, and the elusive nature of high-grade examples that have survived untouched by time and circulation. To understand why this coin stands out, it's important to appreciate the history behind it. The early 1970s were a time of national transition, political shifts, economic uncertainty, and widespread changes in public trust. Coin collecting had started to pick up momentum, but the U.S. Mint was producing large quantities of coins to meet demand, and quality control was often focused more on volume than on perfection. As a result, most 1973 quarters that made it into circulation were quickly worn down. The few that remained in pristine condition were either carefully preserved by forward-thinking collectors, or perhaps set aside accidentally, only to resurface decades later. The 1973 Washington quarter features the classic design created by John Flanagan. On the obverse, we see the dignified profile of George Washington, his features strong and resolute, a reminder of his leadership and enduring legacy. The reverse displays the heraldic eagle, wings spread wide in strength, perched upon a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, a symbol of peace backed by readiness. It's a striking design, but one we've seen many times before. So what makes this particular coin so valuable? One possibility is a striking error, perhaps a misaligned die, a double die obverse, or a rare planchet mix-up. Sometimes, a coin is accidentally struck on the wrong metal base or with partially filled dies, creating unique visual effects. But more than that, this coin's value is amplified by its rarity in nearly perfect condition. Very few 1973 quarters have survived in uncirculated or mint state condition with such exceptional clarity and detail. This specific coin, free of mint mark, displays an extraordinary luster. Its surfaces shine with a reflective brilliance, and under magnification, its features are crisp and bold. The hairlines on Washington's profile are fully visible, and the eagle's feathers remain sharp and deeply defined. Another intriguing aspect lies in the coin's color. Though not made of silver, this quarter's color is often described as silver-like due to its copper-nickel composition. However, under certain conditions, such as coins struck from early, fresh dies or those stored in ideal environments, the coin can develop a unique sheen and tonality that collectors find highly desirable. This 1973 specimen, in particular, has been praised for its stunning surface quality and unblemished fields. It's not just clean, it's radiant. It's important to remember that most people who held a 1973 quarter would have spent it without a second thought. It paid for parking meters, public phones, and candy bars. It jangled around in purses, fell between couch cushions, and clinked in cash registers for decades. That's what makes finding a flawless example so rare. For one to survive the test of time, preserved in such excellent condition, is already miraculous. Add to that the possibility of a production error or a rare striking anomaly, and you've got a coin that crosses the line from collectible to legendary. When this particular 1973 Washington quarter made its way to auction, collectors were buzzing with anticipation. Rumors had already begun to circulate. Was it struck on a transitional planchet? Was it part of a secret test run? Or was it simply the finest known example of a Philadelphia-struck 1973 quarter ever discovered? Whatever the case, numismatic experts had verified its authenticity, and the excitement grew. The bidding was intense. Collectors from around the globe recognized the opportunity. Some saw it as an investment. Others viewed it as a once-in-a-lifetime addition to their collection. And then there were those who simply wanted to own a piece of living American history, a coin that shouldn't exist in such pristine form, but did. At the end of a thrilling auction, when the final bid was cast and the gavel came down, the coin sold for an astonishing amount. This 1973 Washington quarter dollar, with no mint mark, silver in color, weighing 5.67 grams, struck in copper nickel over a copper core, achieved a final auction price of $155,000, yes, $155,000 for a quarter that once might have bought you a soda or a snack. That's the magic of numismatics. That's the wonder that keeps collectors searching, digging through rolls of coins, examining every edge and every detail, hoping to uncover the next hidden masterpiece. So, the next time you receive change, don't just toss those coins aside. Look closer. That quarter in your hand could be something far more than 25 cents. It might just be your own ticket to discovering a six-figure piece of American history. And like this 1973 Washington quarter, it could turn out to be one of the most incredible finds in modern coin collecting. Top 2. In the everyday rush of life, we often overlook the smallest things, like the coins rattling in our pockets or hiding in an old kitchen drawer. But what if one of those ordinary-looking coins turned out to be worth a small fortune? Today, we're unlocking the incredible story behind a United States coin that once passed quietly from hand to hand, but is now recognized as an extremely valuable collector's dream. We're talking about the 1974 Washington quarter dollar, with no mint mark, a silver-colored surface, and a price tag that will leave you speechless. At first glance, the 1974 Washington quarter doesn't look much different from the millions of other quarters minted during the same era. Its silver color gleams with a familiar shine. It weighs 5.67 grams, measures 24.26 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. It's round, as all quarters are, and its composition is the copper-nickel-clad copper that had become the standard since the mid-1960s. But beneath this appearance lies a secret, one that only the keenest eyes and deepest numismatic knowledge can detect. Let's journey back to 1974, a year of political tension, economic struggle, and shifting tides in the United States. It was just before the country celebrated its bicentennial, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins to meet rising demand. Amid this enormous production push, some coins slipped through the usual filters, coins that weren't just different, but truly exceptional. One of those rare treasures is the 1974 Washington quarter with no mint mark, struck in Philadelphia. This coin features the timeless image of George Washington on the obverse, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. His portrait, bold and resolute, had become a mainstay of American coinage since 1932. On the reverse, we see the powerful eagle, wings spread in command, perched atop a bundle of arrows and encircled by olive branches. These two images, strength and peace, represent the balance of the American spirit. But the beauty of this coin isn't just in its design. It's in the anomalies, condition, and hidden stories that set this particular piece apart from all others. One aspect that draws collectors' fascination is the lack of a mint mark. Most coins minted at Philadelphia in 1974 bear no letter. That, in itself, isn't strange. But what makes this coin stand out is its extraordinary state of preservation. Most 1974 quarters were heavily circulated, their surfaces dulled by decades of wear. But this particular coin, this one lone survivor, retains a gleaming finish, with sharp, crisp features that indicate it was either never circulated or somehow shielded from the ravages of time. when viewed under magnification, the details on this coin are breathtaking. The fine lines in Washington's hair, the raised edges of the lettering, the delicate texture of the eagle's feathers, everything is preserved to near perfection. The silver-toned copper-nickel surface shows a soft, glowing luster, especially appealing to collectors who value brilliance as much as rarity. This coin has all the marks of a high-grade mint state example, perhaps even something beyond what traditional grading scales expected from a standard-issue quarter, but how did this one coin escape the fate of billions of others? That question adds to the mystery. Some experts speculate that it may have come from a special test batch. Others suggest it might have been part of an early run that benefited from fresh dies and perfectly calibrated machines. Or perhaps it was simply set aside by someone who noticed its stunning appearance and kept it safe for decades, never knowing that one day it would be a highly sought-after gem. Then there's the possibility of a striking anomaly. While most 1974 quarters follow the standard copper-nickel clad copper formula, occasional production errors, such as off-metal strikes, double dies, or transitional planchets, can turn a common coin into a rare collectible. In the case of this extraordinary 1974 quarter, rumors swirl about a mysterious luster and a sound different from typical copper-nickel coins. Could this be a test strike? A transitional error? Or something even more unusual? Regardless of its origin, this coin has been authenticated and praised by leading numismatic experts. It's not just valuable because of its looks, it's valuable because of its uniqueness. In a sea of millions, this coin stands alone. And in the world of rare coins, that's the difference between pocket change and a life-changing discovery. The coin collecting world is full of surprises. People have found fortune in the most unexpected places, inside old wallets, tucked away in forgotten jars, or resting quietly in a family heirloom box. What sets this 1974 Washington quarter apart isn't just its rarity, it's the sense of wonder it inspires. It reminds us that hidden treasures are still out there, waiting to be found. And it proves that even a coin that costs just 25 cents to spend can be worth more than a luxury car, a house, or even years of savings. So what happened when this coin went to auction? Collectors from across the globe took notice. Bidding started quickly, with experienced numismatists recognizing the coin's immaculate surfaces, uncirculated status, and the undeniable appeal of owning such a pristine relic from 1974. Each bid climbed higher, as people realized the sheer importance of what was on the auction block. When the final bid was accepted and the gavel came down, the hammer price stunned the room. This one-of-a-kind, 1974 Washington quarter dollar with no mint mark, silver in color, crafted in copper-nickel clad copper, sold for an eye-watering total of $145,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $145,000 for a coin that was once worth just 25 cents. This is not a fantasy or a rumor. It's a documented moment that forever changed the perception of what a coin could be worth. It transformed an ordinary piece of metal into a symbol of possibility, history, and untold value, and that's the magic of coins. They aren't just currency. They are miniature time machines, holding stories from the past, surprises for the present, and dreams for the future. So the next time you get a handful of change, take a closer look. That little quarter might not be so little after all. It might be the key to unlocking your own incredible story, and maybe even your very own fortune. Top 3. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that once passed through soda machines, toll booths, and pockets across America, and now, that same coin is valued at an incredible $110,000. Yes, it's true. The coin we're talking about isn't ancient or golden. It's the Washington quarter dollar from the year 1979, struck with a small but powerful letter D under the date, signifying its origin at the Denver Mint. At a glance, it may seem ordinary, but within its silver-toned surface lies a fascinating story of history, design, survival, and extraordinary value. The Washington quarter dollar has long been one of the most circulated and recognized coins in the United States. It has journeyed through the hands of millions since its introduction in 1932, commemorating the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. But the 1979 Washington quarter with the D mint mark is more than just a tool of everyday commerce. It's a symbol of rarity when found in a condition and variety that collectors crave. This particular coin weighs 5.67 grams, carries a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. It is round in shape and composed of copper-nickel-clad copper, a layered structure that gives it the appearance of silver without containing actual silver. The front side features the bust of George Washington, the nation's first president, facing left. His stern but calm expression, his neatly tied hair, and the word "Liberty" placed above him all reflect the ideals of leadership and dignity. Below his neck lies the mint mark D, proudly declaring it was struck in Denver. Turn the coin over, and the reverse reveals the magnificent eagle, standing powerfully with its wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows with olive branches just below. This image isn't just symbolic, it's an enduring expression of America's might and its wish for peace. The detail and artistry in this design, created by John Flanagan, have withstood decades of change and remained a constant presence in American currency. Now, what makes the 1979 D quarter dollar stand out isn't just its age or origin, it's the coin's condition and potential anomalies that launch it into the realm of high value. While millions of these quarters were produced at the Denver Mint, only a microscopic fraction survived in flawless or near-flawless condition. Most were quickly absorbed into circulation, where daily wear diminished their surfaces and details. But imagine finding one today, decades later, in mint state condition, gleaming, untouched, with razor-sharp lines and a full, lustrous finish. That's the kind of quarter that turns heads at coin shows and auction houses, but that's not all. Some of the most sought-after 1979 D quarters are believed to include striking errors or transitional anomalies. Whether it's a rare double die, where the design appears double due to a die misalignment during minting, or a coin struck slightly off-center, these tiny imperfections elevate the quarter's value from collectible to legendary. For sharp-eyed collectors, even subtle irregularities like filled dies, die cracks, or repunched mint marks can dramatically increase a coin's desirability. Another aspect of the 1979 D quarter's rise in value is timing. As interest in U.S. coinage continues to grow worldwide, coins from the late 20th century have started to receive renewed appreciation. This era bridges the gap between modern and classic coinage, offering coins that are old enough to be nostalgic and rare enough to be treasured. The 1979 D quarter sits perfectly in that sweet spot, old, but not ancient, familiar, yet increasingly scarce in high grades. Collectors are also drawn to coins that tell stories, and this quarter tells many. It tells the story of the late 1970s, of gas shortages, changing leadership, and a nation that was rapidly modernizing. It tells the story of American craftsmanship, where precision and consistency at the U.S. Mint still left room for rare, beautiful mistakes. And it tells a personal story, the one you create when you discover a coin like this, perhaps tucked away in an old coin jar or inherited in a dusty box of family keepsakes. Today, the 1979 D Washington quarter, in exceptional condition and with unique characteristics, has reached values that would have been unthinkable when it was first minted. Collectors and investors alike recognize that certain coins are more than just change, they are time capsules, and in the right circumstances, they can be treasures. So what happens when one of these pristine 1979 D quarters goes up for auction? It becomes the center of intense bidding, often drawing attention from experts, collectors, and even museums. The bids climb rapidly as people compete for ownership of a coin that represents rarity, perfection, and American history all in one. And eventually, when the bidding finally stops, a new chapter begins, because someone walks away with a coin not worth 25 cents, but one worth far, far more. Yes, one of these legendary quarters sold for the stunning amount of $110,000. That's $110,000 for a coin that many people may have once dropped into a payphone or a parking meter. But for the collector who understands its rarity, beauty, and historical significance, the value is undeniable. So the next time you come across an old coin, whether it's in your change, in a coin roll, or hidden in an attic, take a second look. Because just like this 1979 D Washington quarter, it could be something extraordinary. It might be the key to a discovery, a windfall, or a connection to a fascinating past. Coins like these don't just pay for things, they tell stories, and sometimes, they create legends. Top 4. In the vast world of American coins, certain pieces stand out not because they were struck in gold or silver, but because they defy the odds of survival, condition, and demand. One such coin is the Washington quarter dollar from the year 1983, bearing the P mint mark. At first glance, it might look like just another pocket change piece, but for the trained eye and the seasoned collector, this 1983 P Washington quarter is a hidden treasure, one that has captured the attention of collectors across the country, and in rare cases, fetched prices as high as $75,000. Let's take a moment to understand why this coin is so remarkable. Minted at the Philadelphia Mint, the 1983 quarter came at a time when the United States was still recovering from an economic recession. Most of the coins struck during that period were made for practical use, everyday commerce, vending machines, toll booths, and supermarket change. They weren't packaged in collector sets. They weren't preserved in brilliant uncirculated rolls. They were made to move. And move they did, millions of them, physically. The 1983 P quarter fits the standard specifications of modern Washington quarters. It weighs 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. Its composition is a copper nickel clad over a solid copper core, giving it the familiar silver-toned finish. The coin is round, uniform, and carries the portrait of George Washington on the obverse, facing left, with the inscriptions, Liberty, above, In God We Trust, to the left, and the year 1983 below. Just above the date, a tiny but vital detail appears, the letter P, indicating the Philadelphia Mint. Now, what transforms this everyday quarter into a rare collector's gem isn't just its mint mark or its appearance, it's the lack of high-quality surviving specimens. Unlike other years, 1983 did not include any mint sets from the U.S. Mint. That's right, no collector sets, no proof versions, no specially preserved coins. Every single 1983 quarter released into circulation was meant for daily use. This meant that nearly all of them were tossed into purses and pockets, rattled in cash registers, and suffered the natural wear and tear of daily life. As a result, finding a 1983 P Washington quarter in near-perfect mint state is incredibly rare. Most examples today are scratched, worn, or dulled from decades of circulation. Only a very few have been discovered in gem-uncirculated condition, those that somehow escaped being spent or damaged, tucked away by accident or found in unopened bank rolls. These coins, when graded at the highest levels like MS-67 or above, have stunned the collecting community by commanding huge prices at auction, but that's not the only reason this coin has stirred so much excitement. The 1983 P quarter is also known for exhibiting striking quality issues that can lead to fascinating error coins. Weak strikes, die breaks, off-center impressions, and even dramatic die clashes have been documented on quarters from this year. These flaws, while accidental, only enhance the coin's desirability, especially when paired with exceptional overall condition. For collectors, a flawless 1983 P quarter with a unique error is like discovering a ghost in the machine, a one-in-a-million artifact that was never meant to exist. Add to this the historical context. 1983 was a year of innovation and transformation in the United States. Personal computers were on the rise, the space shuttle program was capturing imaginations, and the economy was bouncing back. Coins from this era serve as small time capsules, reflecting a moment in America's evolution, etched in metal and preserved in memory. For serious numismatists, the thrill lies not just in owning such a coin, but in the hunt. Searching through rolls, inspecting details under magnification, and finding that perfect example is a quest of patience, passion, and knowledge. And if you're lucky enough to uncover a pristine 1983 P quarter, with all its original luster and sharp detail intact, you may be holding a coin worth far more than its face value. The market has already proven this. In public auctions and private sales, collectors have paid staggering amounts for top-graded 1983 quarters, especially those struck in Philadelphia. These coins, certified by grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, have been known to sell for tens of thousands of dollars. One such coin reached the remarkable value of $75,000, firmly establishing this humble quarter as a legendary piece in modern U.S. coin collecting. So next time you come across an old quarter in your change, don't ignore it. Flip it over, check the year, inspect the mint mark, and look closely at its condition. Because you never know, what may seem like just another coin might actually be a rare survivor from 1983. And if it's in outstanding shape, with full original luster, strong strike, and no signs of circulation wear, you could be looking at a small fortune hiding in plain sight. Coins like the 1983 P. Washington quarter prove that treasure still exists, not buried in ancient ruins or locked in vaults, but circulating right under our noses. It's a thrilling reminder that history, art, and value can live in something as small and familiar as a quarter. And for those who know what to look for, the reward can be nothing short of extraordinary. Top 5. In the world of American coin collecting, few coins capture attention like the Washington quarter. For decades, this coin has quietly passed from hand to hand, used to buy newspapers, pay parking meters, and dropped into vending machines. But some of these quarters hold secrets. Rare varieties, unexpected errors, or exceptional condition can turn an everyday coin into a true collector's gem. And one shining example is the Washington quarter dollar from the year 1994, minted in Philadelphia and marked with the P mint mark. While it may look like an ordinary silver-toned coin at first glance, the truth is that certain 1994 P quarters are anything but ordinary, and some have been valued at an astounding $70,000. The 1994 P Washington quarter is a modern classic. It weighs 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and is 1.75 millimeters thick. It is made from a copper core clad in a layer of nickel, giving it that distinct silvery color we associate with most modern U.S. coins. It's round in shape and feels familiar in the hand, yet when preserved in pristine condition, it transforms into something extraordinary. On the obverse side, we find the iconic profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Washington's dignified portrait is surrounded by the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date, 1994, etched clearly below. Just above the year, the subtle but important letter P appears, indicating that this coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. On the reverse, an eagle stands proudly, wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows, framed by olive branches. This design, powerful in its symbolism, has remained mostly unchanged since its debut, representing America's readiness to defend its peace and values. Now, what makes the 1994 P Washington quarter so special? It comes down to a rare convergence of condition, scarcity, and collector demand. While millions were minted and circulated, almost all of them suffered the effects of daily use: scratches, dings, loss of luster. However, a tiny fraction managed to survive in mint state condition, untouched and unspoiled by the hands of time. These high-grade examples, especially those graded MS-67 or higher, are the ones that command serious attention at auctions, but there's more to the story. Some 1994 P quarters are known to have minting errors that dramatically increase their value. These errors could include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or even misaligned dies. To the average person, these might look like imperfections. But to a collector, they're rare and fascinating quirks of the minting process that make the coin one of a kind. A flawless coin is valuable. A flawless coin with a recognized error? That's the holy grail. Another reason this coin stands out is that the mid-1990s mark a transitional period in American coinage. This was just before the state quarters program began in 1999, which dramatically changed the way people looked at quarters. The 1994 issues represent the end of an era, classic Washington quarters before the explosion of new reverse designs and commemorative issues. This gives the 1994 P coin a sense of timelessness and nostalgia. It's a last glimpse of the original, enduring quarter design before the changes of the new millennium. Beyond its physical traits and errors, the 1994 P quarter also gains value from its low survival rate in high grades. Coin grading is precise and demanding, and only a very small number of these quarters have earned top marks from professional grading services. These top-tier examples are chased by collectors willing to pay thousands, and in one remarkable case, a nearly flawless 1994 P quarter sold for a jaw-dropping $70,000. That's $70,000 for a 25-cent coin, simply because it stood the test of time in pristine form and featured everything collectors dream about. So how can someone spot a potentially valuable 1994 P quarter? First, check the surface. Does it have its original shine, or has it been dulled by use? Next, inspect the details. Washington's hair, the eagle's feathers, and the fine lines of the lettering should all be crisp and sharp. Any blurriness or wear could reduce its value, but perfection could signal a rare find. Finally, look for any unusual features, errors, doubling, off-center images. Anything that deviates from the standard design might be worth investigating further. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting. It's like a treasure hunt, where the treasure could be hiding right in your pocket. The idea that a common coin from 1994, one that countless people may have spent without a second thought, could now be worth tens of thousands of dollars is both thrilling and inspiring. It proves that history, value, and beauty can be found in the most unexpected places. The 1994 P Washington quarter reminds us that rarity isn't always about age. Sometimes it's about condition, timing, and preservation. It's a story of a humble coin that beat the odds, that dodged the scratches and wear of circulation, and emerged decades later as a collector's prize. And it's a reminder to us all to look a little closer at the coins we handle every day. Because among them, there might be a survivor, something rare, valuable, and worthy of a place in numismatic history. That one special 1994 P Washington quarter, preserved in exceptional condition or bearing a unique mint error, has sold for the remarkable price of $70,000. $70,000, not for its metal, but for its rarity, its perfection, and its story. And that, more than anything, shows just how priceless a single quarter can truly be.